Hi, this is Brandon Price with Fayetteville Urban Ministry, and you are watching Neighbors in Need TV. Fayetteville Urban Ministry's mission is to show God's compassion for our neighbors in need and thus build a community together. Fayetteville Urban Ministry was founded back in 1974 in Hay Street United Methodist Church in the basement. It had a budget of about $10,000 and a few people with a dream, a vision of serving this community. And one of those people we have right here with us, Mr. Johnny Wilson, the Executive Director of Fayetteville Urban Ministry. Johnny, how you doing?
I'm doing well.
Nice to have you.
Thanks for having me, Brandon.
No problem. Well, Johnny, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, how long do we have? If most folks know me, they know I can certainly be long-winded, but I try to chop it up for you.
All right.
In telling you a little bit about myself, Brandon, I will just say that I'm pretty much old school, traditional, a little bit of complex. My grandmother, she raised me, and we started out, well, just to go a little bit further than that, my family, our roots started in Washington, D.C., then we migrated down south toward the western part of the state, and I was raised in pretty much mostly in a small town of Landrum, South Carolina. My grandmother, she raised me. I graduated from high school there, learned everything about sports. And sports kept me disciplined and out of trouble to a certain degree. And then throughout time, I learned this thing they call football, basketball, but I got a little bit better in that in basketball. And that is what brought me eventually to Fayetteville, North Carolina, as I was a pretty decent basketball player, and I came here to Methodist College, now Methodist University, came here to play basketball and as an older student, and moved here in 1995.
Okay. Well, now, Johnny, take me back to when you first began with Fayetteville Urban Ministry. How long ago was that, in fact?
1999.
Wow.
1999. I came over. I was about to graduate from Methodist College, now university, in the spring of '99, and I came to Find a Friend program, which is a program of Fayetteville Urban Ministry. I came there to be a mentor, and I loved everything that it stood for, helping young folks that are at risk, court involved, being a mentor to them. After a couple of months, the director at that time, Miss Regina Stinson, her and Rusty Long, my predecessor and mentor, actually told me about a part-time position that was coming open. And again, I guess I had been a mentor for about 2 or 3 months, and I said, yeah, this is right up my alley. I'll jump on that. And after 2 months being part-time, a full-time position came open. They said, would you like that? And I said, of course. So no problem at all. And then about 3 years after that, I was given a blessing and opportunity to be the overall director of the Find a Friend program. And I have just, I was blessed with great staff. A lot of folks know Ms. Shauna Hopkins, who's worked with me through the youth program for so many years. we were able to take the Find a Friend program, which was had a lot of challenges in the beginning. In fact, there were some parts that was on probation because we didn't have enough kids or enough mentors. And we was able to really take the program by the horns and went from basically serving 30 kids a year to now we're serving almost 200 kids per year.
Wow.
And so we all know, of course, last year I was blessed with the opportunity of January 1, 2012, to be the executive director of Fayetteville Urban Ministry. So all in all, I've been with the Fayetteville Urban Ministry family and organization going into 14 years.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's a long time.
It is.
So it's safe to say you sort of grew up with Fayetteville Urban Ministry.
Absolutely, absolutely. Don't see it any other way. I look back on a lot of things and I'm like, ooh, yeah, but I was young. You know, we all have those moments. So I really thank the Lord for all the possibilities and blessings that I've had. A lot of folks to help structure and assist and help Johnny Wilson grow up throughout the years at Urban Ministry.
Awesome. Well, you mentioned, you know, when you first started the Find a Friend program that you guys was kind of going through a tough time, and you had to kind of somewhat, you know, team up with, you know, your coworker, Shauna Hopkins, and rebuild the program a little bit. A lot of people have heard over the last year about some of the struggles through Fayetteville Urban Ministry, even when you took over. You care to, you know, talk a little bit about, you know, some of those challenges?
Yes, it was no secret. We know what our economy is going through. We all feel that we're getting in a better place in all of America, but at the same time, we really are challenged here before things really get back to where they used to be. And urban ministry, as a result of that, had truly been affected over the past 4 years. A lot of our contributions and partnerships, grants have been sliced and diced or are taken away. And that hurts us as far as focusing on the community and helping the community, because we serve any and everyone that works with urban ministry or comes through urban ministry as a client. We serve them free of charge, no cost at all. And so that limits us as far as the ability to serve our community. And more importantly, we have to have staff to help serve the community. So we look at cutbacks along those things. So whenever I was assumed the position, I screamed out real loud through my board of directors, with the help and support of them, that Fayetteville Urban Ministry needs help. And and our community has stepped up in a major way in keeping us afloat and getting our ship back on track.
Awesome. Well, when we come right back, we'll be talking with Johnny Wilson about the 4 different departments within Fayetteville Urban Ministry and all that they make up and all that they do. A lot of people have heard of Fayetteville Urban Ministry and may somewhat be familiar with one of those departments or the other. But just in a few minutes when we come back, we're going to talk in great detail about all 4 departments within Fayetteville Urban Ministry. Stay tuned. You're tuning in to Neighbors in Need TV with Fayetteville Urban Ministry. And today we're talking with Johnny Wilson, Executive Director. You're back with Brandon Price with Fayetteville Urban Ministry, and you're watching Neighbors in Need TV. And what we've been doing the last few minutes is we have been getting to know Johnny Wilson, the Executive Director of Urban Ministry, a little bit better. Johnny, now tell me, now that we've covered, you know, how you come to Urban Ministry and kind of a little bit about where you're from and your background, what all does Fayetteville Urban Ministry do? What is Fayetteville Urban Ministry?
You know, the other day I was playing a little bit of tennis because we had some sunshine on last weekend, and one of my tennis partners said, "Johnny, I had no idea Fayetteville Urban Ministry does that much." Right. Right. And so We do, of course, you know that, Brandon, but we do a lot at Urban Ministry because whenever your mission is to serve and help folks that are in need, our neighbors in need, there's no limitations. And so we have 4 outstanding programs where we serve the clients and serve the community. Starting with our Find a Friend program, that is a program that I used to direct for many, many years. That program serves at-risk and court-involved youth. We do several components to serve those kids. One is our LIFE program, another is our GATE program, another is our interpersonal skills program, and then our mentoring program. And to sum all of those up, what those programs do is they serve our kids as far as leadership, integrity, life and social skills, gang awareness, and then building a bond with a mentor, a one-on-one relationship. As we all know, if we can rack our mind a little bit, we all know that there's one individual throughout our life, whether it was an aunt or uncle, our father, mother, grandparents, so be it, or our coaches. There was someone, or many folks throughout time, that was a mentor and a role model to us to help us get to the place where we're at and still work in progress. Right. If you're living your work in progress. So
I bet you guys see a lot of different, stories and scenarios through that.
Oh man, you wouldn't believe it. One of my big things are called laughing.
Right.
Because we have served so many kids from a tough background, some that are even were tougher than mine, and you have to learn how to laugh, to cope, and deal with things to make sure we give these kids hope. And so we're very proud in that program as we have over an 80% success rate.
Okay.
And what that means is that out of these 200 kids, 80% of them have heightened their grades, no new or court involvement, no long-term suspensions, and they've improved their relationships at home, in school, and in the community.
Well, you mentioned, some of these kids even have a tougher background than you did, growing up. And how was that, though? And how can you kind of tie in how you grew up with the kids that we serve?
It's very easy for me, and all that is simply being there. A lot of folks have to understand is that no matter what background a child is from, they all need structure and discipline. And for me, I found my structure and discipline through sports or my coaches or someone who was just in the support in the name of Johnny Wilson. And that is what we provide for these kids because some of them, at the end of the day, we have to drop them off right back at home. So we have to instill the hope and goals for them and let them believe that they can get there. And again, there were several folks that did that for me.
Well, I know a lot of times when you're working with kids, you kind of find a little bit more favor in some kids than the others. And, you growing up with your grandmother, I can only imagine that sometimes you get closer to the kids who also are being raised by grandparents.
Yeah.
And do you ever find yourself, sharing a similar situation that one of the kids that are growing up with a grandparent shares with, with like what you grew up with your grandparent?
Yes, and you're exactly right. I do. I get attached to some of those kids who have that going on that same path because I know that due to grandma or grandfather being older, stricken maybe due to health reasons or financial reasons, they can't show up at certain activities, games, or supportive things to do. And so that is where we have a great staff in Find a Friend and the mentorship because they're able to go watch the kid at games or club groups and activities. And so that's just what makes the program so special because if you want to better yourself, then whenever that child comes to Find a Friend, they have no choice but to better themselves.
Okay. Well, now that's the first program, the Find a Friend program. That's the youth serving program. What other programs and departments does Urban Ministry offer this community? Okay.
Next program we'll touch base on is our adult literacy program. That is a program that that help serve a population here in Cumberland County of folks that read on a 5th grade or lower, adults that read on a 5th grade or lower reading level. It's staggering, but we have 24% of Cumberland County that falls in that category that reads on a 5th grade or below reading level.
Wow.
And so our goal has, we take between 150 to 200 clients per year, and it models Find a Friend into a certain degree because we match them up with a mentor or a tutor that comes in, and they set their schedule and they get together and they work on strengthening reading. And so we have all type of different programs. Some folks come in to get preparation for GED, ESL program, other languages. What I love about this past year is it's amazing who Frida Lockamy now coordinates that program. We have a lot of folks that are coming in needing to learn the English language, and it is wonderful. Seeing folks sit at the table one-on-one with one another. and I'll stop what I'm doing. I may be walking by trying to make copies or on my way to a meeting, and I just stop in my tracks and watch. You're watching two human beings, just sitting there and engage and dialogue with one another about this language that we take for granted, the English language. Right. And so it's really an awesome program, and we have a lot of champion stories in that because as we grow into adults, these are some of the kids that Find a Friend missed, but now they're adults, and they look back and say, some of them had to drop out of school or didn't care for school at the time or even had learning disabilities. But they've come back to see the importance of education and learning how to read, and they come through in that program. So all you have to do is have enough courage to raise your hand and come to that program.
Well, I bet you probably see a lot of parents who are trying to, come in to improve their, reading so that they can help their children out, I would imagine.
Yeah.
And so, well, okay, so now we got adult literacy, you're teaching adults how to read, and we got the Find a Friend program. So what other things do you guys offer?
Okay, we have another program which is called our Nehemiah Project. Ray Andretti and Tiny King, they coordinate that program. And that is a city of Fayetteville supported program as they give us funding for that. And it goes a heck of a long way as we target elderly citizens that live within the city, the speed limit is in the city limits, and we target, we have a household range as far as income. If you fall into those, into that category, then we can do things such as roof repair, doing handicap ramps, windows, doors, anything to heat and air repairs, things like that. So anything that can help elderly or low-income individual or family get back into the game and into the season. And so we have a great team of contractors that we're partnered with that do outstanding work with us on that.
Awesome. Well, when we get right back, we're going to finish up with the longest standing department of Fayetteville Urban Ministry with Johnny Wilson, the Executive Director of Fayetteville Urban Ministry. I am Brandon Price, and you are tuning in to Neighbors in Need TV. Stay tuned in. You're back with Brandon Price with Fayetteville Urban Ministry, and you're watching Neighbors in Need TV. We've been spending a little bit of time talking with Johnny Wilson, the Executive Director of Urban Ministry, and Johnny was actually getting ready to tell us about the longest standing program at Fayetteville Urban Ministry.
Our emergency assistance program, which is coordinated by Ms. Janice Voter. She has been in the game a long time with us. That is a very, very needed, and again, as you said, a historic and traditional program for urban ministries. That was the premise why urban ministry was built. In this program, you will see all walks of life come in, as we have. We serve the homeless folks population. We serve families that are in need. What we found in the past couple of years, due to our economy, now we're serving a good bit of our military population. And so folks can come to this program, and we serve you as far as food bags and clothing. We do get other type of donations, but we concentrate on food and clothing, as those are our most needed things always. They can get their food and clothing, and it is free of cost.
Wow.
So we do not charge you for any clothing or food. All you have to do is come with a referral in hand, and as on a needed basis.
Awesome, awesome. I imagine you guys would, see a lot of families that are sometimes they don't want to really come in, and they're kind of like hanging their head down a little bit.
Yes.
How you guys handle that?
Well, we handle it with a hug. Obviously, all our programs are confidential at Urban Ministry, and so I can't give out names or anything, but I can tell you this, is that it was about 2 months ago, right after Thanksgiving, there was a soldier who came there with his family, and being that he has, him and his wife have kids and stuff, but he was on a what you call a lower paying scale in the military because his family had outgrew his pay scale. As he came in for help, this soldier, big prideful man who's protecting our country, serving our country, he's really feeling down because, he felt like he couldn't provide for his family. And I simply, pulled him aside and let him know that, hey, you are providing for your family because you raised your hand and just said that you need help and support. And that's what we do. Right. Please don't feel ashamed about that, because everyone, if you live long enough in this world, we all know that you need help from time to time.
Amen. Amen. It kind of takes me back to a previous conversation we was having about you growing up with your grandmother. You guys, had some different difficulties in that time. How do you pull all of that together and to help in those different departments in urban ministry? Well,
I think urban ministry is Johnny Wilson. It is Johnny Wilson, and I'm not just saying that because I work there. I'm saying that if I did not work there, because what I tell a lot of folks is that I wake up excited to go to work each and every day, excited because it is something that I love to do, and I'm doing what I love. And in saying that, Brandon, all 4 of our programs tie into Johnny Wilson and his background and his life. Again, I was raised by my grandmother. I did not have any role models other than her in the house. All my aunts and uncles were in and out of prison or are now deceased. But when my grandmother, she passed about 11 years ago, I had to adopt my younger sisters, and I raised them for 9 years. And I had a great team of friends who's helped me throughout the years. My wife, so I no way in shape, form did it on my own. But more importantly as well, too, I had a very unselfish son who allowed that to happen, as in me bringing in my sisters and raising them. So it was a lot of things, just how it was set up to, hey, this is how it's supposed to be. And so in saying that, urban ministry is unselfish, and that is what I've tried to pride myself in being, because that was how my grandmother raised me, being unselfish. No matter what you have or no matter what you're missing, if someone needs it more, then you give it to them, because it's going to come back to you 2 to 3 times. Wow. And so that's what I believe in. No matter how much I have or how much I'm going to get, if there's someone who's in need, then you share it with them. You share it with them, because it'll be all right.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, doing so much for this community, how does urban ministry function? I mean, you said that everything that you guys do is 100% free to the clients or kids that you serve and their families. How do you survive financially?
Well, you ever heard of crying and begging? We do a lot of crying and begging. You know, it's gotten to the point now when people see me come into a room to board meetings or some type of social engagement, they start taping up their pockets. But how we make it and survive it, we have a great community here in Fayetteville and what makes us unique is though we have a transient population, we have a lot of folks who are homegrown here and know the mission of Fayetteville Urban Ministry. So they step up big time. And we have a lot of valued partners and businesses such as Mr. Robert Hines of United Way. They support us and sponsor us financially. Mr. Bill McMillan of the Restore, awesome partner. Mr. David Sessoms of Millermont College here, they've come on board and support us big time. The Partnership of Defensive Innovation, Mr. Scott Perry, they support us big time. And so it's partnerships like that. And then we do get some state and federal funding that keep us afloat. But you put all of those together, and then you tie in a big-time loving community such as Fayetteville, North Carolina, and Cumberland County that have just opened up their hearts and to give us their time, talent, and treasure. That's the true essence of how urban ministry survives. And whenever we yell, "Help!" you know, they step up. So I would love to give you individual names, but a lot of our supporters would like to stay anonymous, you know, as far as individual names. But I am proud of Fayetteville, North Carolina. It has been nothing short of great for Johnny Wilson, but nothing short of greatness for Fayetteville Urban Ministry.
Awesome. And so is there a particular time of year that you're looking for donations, or is it, you know, all year round?
It is, I think there's 365?
Yeah, 366 on leap year.
Okay. It's always ongoing. We do have a lot of folks that step up to the plate big time in November, December, and January, in the holiday season, of course. But what I love about our community is there are a lot of folks saying now, it's like, I realize, you know, I want to help you during Christmas, I want to help you Thanksgiving, but please let me know during the year, can I come in and help? And I said, absolutely. And so I think that's the biggest thing that we're really trying to get out there to folks is that it is Christmas or the holiday season year-round for Fayetteville Urban Ministry because we're always serving neighbors in need from January through December 31.
Awesome. Well, Johnny, you know, I really appreciate your time and you spending it here with us on Neighbors in Need TV. And this is Brandon Price, and you are watching and tuning in to Neighbors in Need TV with Fayetteville Urban Ministry. You can catch us every other Thursday at 9 p.m. right here on the Community Channel with Time Warner Cable. Again, this is Brandon Price. We want to thank you for your time and tuning in to Neighbors in Need TV.